in my opinion, the greatest thing about Anchor is that you don't need a big budget, you don't need fancy equipment. Anchor gives you all the tools that allow you to record, edit, and produce a top quality podcast right from your phone or your computer. When we started out, we literally recorded to our phone for the first 50 episodes, and we never had a problem with it. We always felt like we got great quality, a great service, and it was easy to understand and easy to use. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, and best of all, using Anchor, it is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, it's said he doesn't believe in the periodic table because the only element he recognises is the element of surprise.
Hell
it's
yeah.
my co-host, he's Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, good evening everybody, welcome one and all.
Welcome back. Surprise!
Yeah.
Welcome back, new listeners, and of course, you repeat offenders. Thank you for joining us for another week.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's been a week.
It has.
And you're joining us for an excellent, exciting episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Aren't you lucky?
You lucky people.
You lucky people. Yeah, well, we've got an exciting episode for you this week. We're joined in the studio by returning guest Karl de Leeuw.
Oh, yeah.
Who's coming on the show to talk about several topics, including the creator, what is God, I suppose, and also multiverses, all highlighted in his book, The Universe Code. We'll be talking with Karl a little bit later on in the show.
We will indeed.
It's very exciting, lots of stuff going on. Yeah. Well worth sticking around for. But before we get into all that, have you had an exciting week, Mr. Taylor? Has anything cheered you up?
I don't know about cheered me up. I was watching a programme the other day on, funny enough, Oak Island.
Oh, I love a bit of Oak Island.
About the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
It was supposed to have been...
There's loads of treasures supposedly buried on Oak Island.
Oh, yeah. But it was going through, like, the history of, how Robert the Bruce...
it's one of the theories, yeah. I mean, the Robert the Bruce theory I've totally heard before. There's quite a lot of theories that, of who put what, where, and when. And it's like,
And I think it was the only
I think they're just trying to work out which one's actually the correct theory at this point.
Yeah, because it goes into a set family. I can't remember the names at the minute. I did have it written down, but it was the joint. That's that church in Scotland. That's the reason why they were connected
it was
to
the
that.
Knights
Templar.
The Knights Templar were like, and there was a church in Scotland which was a stronghold for the Knights Templar, I believe.
Yeah.
Where they kept a lot of religious artifacts and plundered treasure. And I think they ended up. Robert the Bruce was involved in transporting it to like Nova Scotia, where Oak Island is.
No, it was a little bit time after the big fight. I believe the only fight that they ever won against the English. They actually it was to do with their sons, and the sons went off through that family and went over to the Oak Island.
Pretty cool stuff. I mean, I
didn't
love
realise around
treasure
there.
hunting. I mean, the history behind Oak Island, or the theories. There's a lot of different theories related to the island, and a lot of them involve, Francis Bacon.
Yeah.
You've got the Knights Templar. You know, got the Spanish
Armada,
conquistadors, and
Vikings including.
There's
as well.
loads of different takes on it, and it's like I say, it's they're slowly discovering now that there's more to the area.
Yeah,
and,
massively.
There's even like natives to the island, the Mi'kmaq.
Yes.
Right, which were there before anyone else, so it's like, could these workings that they're finding be related to them?
Yeah,
who knows?
Was a big connection there. I think.
There was a thing in the episode this in this new series.
All right.
Where the discovery of some of this Mi'kmaq
treasure
pottery. It was just basically like, but it was evidence to say that they were there in the area, and it kind of causes a few problems from heritage standpoint. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
because
true.
they're a native, people that they want to, rather preserve these sites if they're found.
That's true.
But then does that hinder the discoveries and the potential sort of excavation for the purposes of trying to solve this mystery?
Well,
so,
there was an interesting thing
all
around
very
there
interesting
about the
stuff.
stones and how
we
the
could go
stones
into
have
this
holes
all day, but we've got a pressing episode.
We
this
have
week,
indeed.
So we will have to
well?
kind of like move on. To be honest, I've had a bit of a non-week this week. I've had a quiet week. I don't know, caught up on a couple of like shows. I'm loving Hawkeye at the moment.
All right. How many episodes are out now?
3 episodes at the moment. And then I totally finished the Beatles documentary. Peter Jackson, though, it's like, if it's not 7 hours long, it's not worth making.
No.
And but it is good. You just have to fast forward through the Yoko squeaking down the old microphone like for a couple of minutes. But yeah, great documentary. It actually does tell a good story in respect to kind of like the Beatles, last live performance together, and how that kind of, it's quite sad, but in a lot of ways, good band.
Yeah. They were a great band, weren't they?
Other
really?
than that, it's just been bits and pieces really this week. Preparing for a good chat with Karl.
Yes.
But
definitely.
We always have a few bits going on, like Red Wall Radio. We're available on Thursday evenings from around 8-9 o'clock, depending on how long the episode is. So the next week we'll probably be on a bit earlier.
Yeah,
because it's going to be a long episode.
I think so.
You can catch them at redwallradio.net, I think, is it, or .org. If you Google Red Wall Radio, I will put a link up in the description as well, I'm sure.
And you could go to our website, and it's on there as well.
Actually,
with every other little bit of details that you need to know about us.
Click a banner from the website at neverstraightanswer.co.uk.
Yeah.
There you go. Job done, innit?
It is.
There
it is.
you go.
All you have to go is there. That's it. Sorted.
But other than that, it's been quite a quiet week.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Well, it's been nice because, like, I've had a few days where I've just been able to, just do bits like sitting down at the laptop.
Catching up.
And this is a good shameless plug.
Oh, right.
Because it was a good opportunity to listen to some audiobooks.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah, I like a good audiobook.
You do,
and
yes.
Audible.
Oh, yes.
Are a great way to utilise all those moments that, you're off washing the dishes, or you're doing the housework, or doing your uni work, or whatever. You're able to kind of stick a book on, and sometimes I just put films on. I used to just put films or TV on as background noise. While I was doing bits around the house. Audiobooks are way better because they're designed for the ears. For the ears. Well, you can get a free trial with Audible.
You can.
You get choices of loads of different genres of audiobooks, including bestsellers, new releases, sci-fi, romance, mysteries, classics, and more.
It's Among Us.
And they've got a 30-day free trial, which entitles you to a free book of your choice. After that, you'll be paid $7.99 a month.
Get it while you can.
But at the moment, an extra bonus offer, if you've already had your free trial and you're a returning customer, 99 pence.
Oh, that sounds good.
Will get you
how long a week?
3 months.
Free
3 months of Audible subscription, which, if you're a Prime member, entitles you to 6 free audiobooks over the 3 months.
Oh, that's just a massive
right.
giveaway,
So that's like the whole Harry Potter.
Yeah,
or the whole Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
You know, or, you know, if you're into that,
Other
you know,
genres
what's that other one everyone likes? You know, the
oh, you mean
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You know, all on Audible
and
available to download. So, you know, well worth it. Link is in the description.
Yeah.
And
get it while you can.
Get it,
won't
get
be
it
there
while
forever.
it's hot.
Yeah.
But
and
there you
it's
go.
hot as trot at the minute.
99p's decent.
Yeah, that's good for 3 months.
For $6 as well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and joining us on the show this week, we've got a returning guest, a friend of the podcast, Karl de Leeuw, is joining us in the studio to discuss his book, The Universe Code, as well as a couple of other topics. I'm sure it's going to be a fascinating chat.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Karl.
Welcome.
Thank you guys for having me back. Much appreciated.
No, but it was brilliant.
welcome,
Brilliant
mate.
having you on last time. We had a really good, fun conversation, interesting, about the moon landings and some of the theories behind the potential hoaxes and
stuff,
the potential kind of
conspiracy,
isn't it? Yeah. And I think we all came up with some really good, interesting topic, good conversations there. If you want to go and check out that episode, I'll probably post that in the week, actually, you know, just as a kind of a while we've got Karl on.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in your book. I've been having a look over kind of the had a skim read of it, and what I've seen so far is quite mind-blowing stuff. Can you tell us about how you kind of came to this, to write in the book, and tell us a bit about
how you got the info and stuff?
Yeah, so I'm from Pretoria, South Africa, heart of apartheid. At age 25, I moved to London, and it was my dreams as in student years in South Africa, University of Pretoria, to have an office in London. One day I woke up and there I was. I was a partner in a practice in Holborn, Kingsway, London. But then from then I started investing in property, made quite a bit of money. And with my ex, Irish lady, and 3 kids, we were in Twickenham area, we moved to Dublin Island, which I'm at now. And did very well in property, and I invested in the Celtic Tiger years. So this was 2005, 6, and the banks were just giving out money left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
And a property that, if I had it completed, if the subprime didn't happen, it actually happened August 2007, although I only regularly hit the UK in 2008. If I had it completed, I would have made €2 million from.
Wow.
But I didn't. I was halfway through. The banks pulled the plug. And it ended up that 3-4 years after subprime, property prices just went down, 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 down. And in Ireland, it went between 50 and 80% down, 80% in the luxury area. So I was in Dalkey, you know, Bono, it's a famous area, Bono is there and stuff like that, very luxury area. So literally 4 years later, I was owing the banks €2 million because you've got interest on interest, and it's amazing how
it all adds up.
Yeah, well, it goes from having 2 million to owing 2 million so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty shocking, isn't it?
It's mind-boggling, and that was only one of 5 things which caused my separation. But what that then caused is, so the Kabbalists, Kabbalah, the Zohar, they talk about they pray, sort of the top Kabbalists pray to be down, to have total on the floor. Because first of all, you get your ego crushed. That's one advantage. But why they like going on the floor? Because they know spiritually you really connect. Now, I didn't know any of this at that point, but I had it naturally done to me. And I just started waking up spiritually.
In fact, I think we remember talking about this last time you were on for a brief spell.
Yeah.
So I find that quite interesting that it was almost like a spiritual awakening for you.
Very much so. And then I started with dyslexia because my daughter was taken over the class. She was dyslexic and whatever. That gave me a bit of confidence because I discovered certain things. That went into health because nutrients feed the brain. And there's a lot of dyslexia studies that take people off milk and gluten, and then they improve. And so that was my second book on health. And then it gave me confidence. So the first book, Dyslexia Code, was 6 months research. The Housepring Code on health was another 6 months. That then gave me confidence to go for the biggie, which is the Universe Code. And that took me 7 years of research and a lot of flying around and a lot of things. And it's what we and the most important things I discovered from the book is what we're discussing today.
I was literally just going to say, what was the biggest thing you discovered? So, I mean, obviously you've just said there we're going to be going into it. So you say three major points that you can narrow this down to. So what is it exactly? Like you say the Universe Code, is this sort of a code to understanding where we come from? Is it
like what Tesla was after?
A way of life? Is it a way of thinking? Give us a bit of a lowdown on it.
Well, the most important thing that came out of, other than what we discuss now, because we can discuss three very important topics, but is the truth. The truth will set us free. So one of my other 5 points why I got separated is I said to my wife, I cheated on her once a year. I just live a truthful life now. And that's one of the most important things I discovered. But the book really, after I found the truth, what I believe is the truth, and I set it out in the book, it is, to me, I just want to say before I forget, I sort of lost my train of thought there for a second, is that the book, I had 500,000 words. I called it a workbook of all events and books and notes I went through. And my book is written in the format of, I left the notes of the different authors. I had a co-author already set up, and then I discovered it's more powerful as it is. But I had 500,000 words, and it took me 6 months, end of 2015, last 6 months, literally 18 hours a day, to remove 2/3, and I was left with a third. And of that third, and then I got rid of half of that because it was duplicated. But of that third was left, 2/3 of that was from the spirit world, or from the Pleiadians, or Pleiadians, as we pronounce it, and the Arcturians, and Billy Meier, which we didn't discuss. And then I was left with 21 chapters, which I saw as 21 pieces of a puzzle.
Yeah.
And the 21 pieces of the puzzle made sense to me. In any case,
as a whole,
the whole thing makes sense. Now, just coming back to, I remember now what I wanted to say is the most important thing that came out of it is that, which I didn't know when I set out to do it, because I just found the truth. After I found the truth, which I believe is the truth, I discovered, wow, we can have world peace. Because
that be nice?
Yeah, it never
happened. And I believe in our lifetime it's possible because we've got the World Wide Web and things happen much faster now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if there was an answer to world peace and it'd probably be going viral, hashtagging, all the rest of it. That social media, influence would spread it like wildfire, you'd hope.
Yeah, but then you get media.
No, well, I mean, you've just hit on something there. Like, the internet has its negatives in that exact same way, where, you can incite anger and hatred and conspiracy and, slander and all these negative things over the internet. Yeah. But in the same respect, if like, as you say, something positive, the answer to world peace, was suddenly available in text form, or the answer was,
right there in
front of you, it'd be, it would be going viral at a much faster pace than it would have years ago or, back in history.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll work because the proof is in the pudding in
maybe we're taking that too literally.
What go on now? I mean, we've been on about climate change for God knows how long, yet still nothing really gets changed. And the reason why is them who've got the power don't want to lose the power, so they're not going to turn around and go, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, look at like the engines and that are made for water consumption, and how many car manufacturers have gone out and bought the document or copyrighted it, and that's it. It stays in a safe when it could actually come out. It's because it won't make any money for him. So unless money
takes away
is
the infrastructure of their sort of.
So you really got to attack. To me, you really got to attack the money situation first, because on that you've got to have everyone on the same level, because no one is on the same level. You've got the little amount that have got the most and the power, and you've got the majority that have got nothing and no power. And it's that bit in between that we need to bring together. And the only way we can do that is by getting together. But we'll never do that. I can't see it in my lifetime.
I mean,
I wish
it's
we
one
could,
of those.
but
I mean,
like I
say, it would be nice. I mean, like, how do you see that, Karl? I mean, what is it that you kind of see that makes you think that we could achieve that in our lifetime?
Well, one is the web, because if you had to ask Jesus or Prophet Muhammad or whatever prophet from whatever religion, would you prefer to have the web or just stay locally where they used to be and became famous sort of after the event and say, I would like the web. So, but the reason why I believe the truth, which I want to discuss tonight, what I believe is the truth, is can achieve world peace, is because I reach 5 of my 21 chapters is on the 5 main religions: Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Yeah. And if we if we bring out the truth, which we're not going to discuss all of the truth tonight, but if we bring out all the truth, then the 5 major religions cannot fight anymore. And once the 5 main religions cannot fight anymore, that can be the start of world peace, in my opinion.
Right. Okay.
Because that can be unlock world peace.
Well, you've always got that percentage that won't let something go. It's the same as politics. They won't let it go because that is the way I feel about it.
You get fundamentalists in every religion, or in just causes. You might have a cause or a cult or something. That,
and you've got rich ones, you know what I mean? Who've got the power, who could actually deal with
it
behind.
Kind of and it's like if you've dedicated your life to a religion only to be told that actually you were all wrong. Then some people might not want to let that go. That could. I know you say that it could cause peace and give everyone a reason. Everyone's going to go, oh, no way, we were wrong all along. Can we all be friends? And it's like, well, I can't see it happening right away, because you'd end up with like denial. It's like the 5 stages of, or what is it? Is it the 5 stages of like loss or whatever? And they say one's denial, you are going through that. Yeah. If you've devoted your life to a religion and a God, and then you're told that potentially you're wrong and you've done all this, your life's been for nothing, then you would feel like lost like you've been let down and all the rest of it. So would that be peace right away? I'm not sure. I think that it'd probably be a start, and I think that's what you're getting at. But that's what we keep talking about, isn't it? That we're looking for the future, because it's what sort of world are our children and grandchildren and grandchildren's children going to inherit,
what we're going to leave.
And if we can make that start to, abolishing, certain aged sort of ways of thinking, then the future might be brighter for the kids.
Yeah, but this is it. I don't think there's a single line that could get everyone together. There is not a single, because there's always another subject area. Like if you want to talk, right, we do religion, but then maybe someone wants to put doesn't agree with certain parts of the religion, but majority they do. So then you've got a little issue there with them, and then you're always going to have them little.
It's always going to be
bits,
somebody, isn't there? That's
so it could never protest. Be perfect. But then like I said, I reckon destruction will come before the peace.
But then again, that's what you're saying, though. It's trying to make it better going forward rather than looking. Yeah,
well, it's like World War II, isn't it? It was agreed after World War II that we need to all join together and not have another world war. Yeah, and we've done it so far.
So what you're saying there is there is
chance,
scope for people kind of like reaching a worldwide agreement, but
it is far long and
that's another
too
episode
many people
because, like I say, that goes
between.
into one world governments and Illuminati and all the rest of it. So
and things get changed all the time.
So when you say about kind of like the world peace and where would that? I mean, in your opinion, Karl, where would that
start? Where would you start that?
Well, it will start with the truth. I take all your points. There's 4 points I just quickly wrote down because it's actually, before we start, it's actually very important. The first one is my Health Drink Code book. I bumped into the longevity nations, and specifically the Hunza Kats in northern Pakistan on the foothill of the Himalayan mountains. They lived an average of 120 years up to the 1960s.
Nice.
Then they built a super highway to them. My book is we can outdo that. We could live in the future 150 years. Yeah. Now I know for listeners this is going to be mind-boggling. But first of all, I'm 58. I believe I've got at least another 40, 50 years, minimum 60 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
That's one thing, but that could be. The second point I'd like to make is, and for your listeners, I'm going to use a lot of information from the spirit world, because that's what things that made sense to me in any case. And I studied at the College of Psychic Studies in London, and I can now communicate with the creator via automatic writing, which I know certain people will obviously query, especially scientists and so on, stuff like that. Yeah. But what Angel Cryon, Kryon, says, and Angel Cryon's communicating for the last 40, 50 years with 9 individuals worldwide. And one of the individuals is a guy called Lee Carroll, which I actually met in London once. And it's we just believe we evolve. You got the Big Bang, you get spiritual matter from the Big Bang, actually from a previous, what they call a great time. Then you get the Big Bang, then you've got spiritual fluffy matter. Then you get the mineral kingdom, then you get the plant kingdom, then you get animal kingdom, then eventually you get humans.
We had a major discussion about this evolution.
Yeah, you know what? I discussed it again today.
The thing is, I just want to answer your previous point. So we all evolved, but we evolved to a template from the spirit world. Okay, people can query that. Now, the spirit world gives us a certain DNA activation. Currently, we've got 30%. The Indigo kids was sort of, I think it's 1992, 1990s, I think 96 onwards, their DNA is activated 36%. And they increase our DNA activation as we can cope with more.
Okay.
So
I can understand that.
So I mean, because I was reading that in your book, and it was saying like 95% of our DNA is junk of some description. Would you say that is stuff that we've kind of
not opened up yet?
Well, rather not opened up yet, because they do say about like your brain power, we don't use our full potential and all the rest of it, but just generally in humanity, our potential, not just brain power, or is it? Remnants of evolution. They say that there's a reptile gene that's dormant in our
our brain,
in our system. We've got like we're remnants of a tail with our coccyx bone. And so is it junk that's left over, or is it junk that's we've not tapped into yet?
Okay, so the one of the things that's taken out of the Old and New Testament, which we're not going to discuss tonight, is reincarnation. And it is actually in the Quran. So that's another topic on its own.
Yeah.
Reincarnation. But if you believe in reincarnation, certainly I do, and certainly Hindus and Buddhists do, then what you've got is, and what Andrew Creon says is that 95% of the DNA that they don't know what it is when you incarnate, when a baby opens its mouth, your soul enters your body via the pineal gland, and your soul resides in the hip area, which is the most dense area, and then it radiates from there, which is why certain people can see energy fields around the body.
Auras, yeah.
Yeah. Now, in the next 20 years or so, apparently they're going to discover quantum filters that will be able to see these human energy fields. Because we're going to get onto this a little bit later. That's one of my points later on.
But where do the extra souls come from? That's what I'd like to know. Where was the extra souls? Because our population is growing, and if
there'll be new souls that are born,
but where did that come
created, from? And then there'll be souls that are reincarnated. So new ones, they're going round for the first time, and it's all kind of brand new experiences. But I think when reincarnation, maybe it's that you didn't learn something, or go through an experience.
Yeah, but
it depends how. I mean, if you feel about well, that's what I'm saying. But if there's a creator like Karl's going to be going into, I think, then there would be. I mean, like I say, in religious terms, I don't know if that a creator means a religious god, or or
an object,
or a creator in the sense that we were DNA manipulated at some point in our history, and we were visited by beings from another planet potentially, and that's how we kind of like came to be. So when we've talked about this many times on the show as well. So getting back to what you were saying there, Karl.
Yeah. So, but just before getting back to that, just to end off on reincarnation, when you haven't incarnated so many times, and you can actually incarnate in the spirit world, everything is in the now. I don't want to open up too many discussions now because I want to get back to
we get carried away
on DNA. But the spirit world, the quantum world is in the now.
Yeah.
The creator made our world for time, because you have to have time for reincarnation, because we come to Earth for life lessons. It turns out Earth is hell. We come
I agree with that.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, totally.
We come here for life lessons. So just back to the DNA and why we can actually have world peace. So what Angel Creon says is that we only have to wake up 0.5% of humanity. So of the 8 billion, 0.5% must be either 4 million or 40 million, one of those two.
Yeah.
But we only need to wake up 4 or 40 million people. That's actually a small amount because the quantum work differently. Now, the biggest thing I discovered, so I went to an event called the Master Plan in Life event by a guy called John Ebertini in Houston, Texas, in January 2011. And you sit for 3 days and you plan your life, 2,000 questions. And spiritually, things came through. And one of the things that came through is that I want to cover the mystery universe and then I have to tell the world. And I didn't know how I was going to do this. But in 2007, I cracked that question. And I never knew at that stage that I could speak to the creator of our automatic writing.
Yeah, you said this earlier, and I was hoping that you'd get a bit more into that. So you do. So
okay, just before we get into that,
okay,
can I just mention that what happened is it's the power of the question. So Einstein dreamt the relativity theory. Newton saw the apple falling, so they could see the question. Then they had to get the answer.
Yeah, of course.
So I knew the question is important. So I then could ask the creator, is the string in string theory the same as the God particle they found in CERN, the Higgs boson?
Yeah.
The creator said, yes, they're one and the same.
I can believe that, yeah.
So all we are in the smallest, so just for the listeners, if you compare a string in the smallest part of an atom to the size of an atom, it's the string you compare to the size of a tree, then the atom would be the size of the solar system.
Yeah.
So the string is so minute, and all we are, the air around us, everything, are just vibrating strings at different frequencies. And because of that fact, people can pray, groups thoughts can change it, because we are all interconnected, and somehow we connect to similar vibrating strings.
And it goes through time too.
I have often thought that, it's a bit of a coincidence that everything operates on frequencies, vibrations, and, that sort of thing. Even the tides are, waves, in a way, sound waves, light waves, everything operates in waves. And, you know, if string theory is to, yeah, I mean, in that respect, that kind of that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so crack on. I mean, you were saying about kind of the idea that you were looking into
the writings
and stuff. So how did that come about? I mean, you said you studied at the London Psychic Research Centre. Yeah. Is that where you've learned to do automatic writing? Did you know you had a medium? You were essentially a medium before you went to study there?
No, not at all. I've never grown up. I'm told through mediumship that when I was a child, I was and most people are when they're a child, but then you get in the schooling system.
Yeah.
But I'm not someone that could speak to the spirit or anything. What was the most important thing which I've discovered since then? The Hindu scholars call it purification, and I call it speaking the truth. Once you start living a life of truth, and I started to wake up spiritually, that is, I believe, to be a medium. If you want to be a proper medium, you have to have that, and you have to.
How do you mean that?
You've got to lift your vibration. You've got to become more vibrational, because then you can connect more to the similar kind of strings. You know, I'm just sort of throwing out analogy.
Yeah, no, that kind of does make sense. I mean, and that's when people say, like, you know, in tuning yourself with the universe and trying to, you know, positive vibes and all those types of things come from that sort of, you know, what people already kind of knew to be true, really, if you like.
Yeah. So if you just go to, say, the College of Psychic Studies, and, you know, I went there to go and fix myself. I had a lot of issues to fix. So I dealt with mediums. So in mediumship, you've got 3 different levels. And this is my summary of it. You get mediumship. So first of all, in mediumship, everyone can be a medium. No, let me not go too far now. So
you're going to have me signing up now by the end of the episode.
Yeah. At the bottom of the mediumship, you can speak to your loved ones that passed away. Okay. That, to me, is important if you want to unblock certain things. But from a scientific or the future world piece, is not so useful. And there's a reason for that. But the next level are the ascended masters. Jesus is actually ascended master. He's called Sananda in the spirit world. And you can speak to the angels. And then the biggest level is creator. Now, so first of all, I used angels. I used 2 ladies that speak to angels, one lady to Angel Metatron and one lady with Angel Michael. And they are super psychologists, because, to give you an example, I didn't know that the thing was blocking me was that my father wanted an abortion when I was in my mother's womb. I went to my mother, asked her, and she said yes. She first time opened up, and then I could unlock things with my father and things that was important. But in any case, coming back to the main point on College Psych Studies and Creator. So after years and years of speaking the truth, vibrational energy, all of these things, and being fixed, it was about 5-6 years. But when I go into things, I go into quite heavily. I then went. I was in Abu Dhabi. I flew from Abu Dhabi for a one-day event on a Saturday, flew out the next day on auras and stuff. And then 2-3 months later, I did a similar trip on automatic writing, just a one-day Saturday event. And you don't automatically write. You have to practice afterwards. But everyone asked either to speak to loved ones or angels. I always think big. And I asked to speak to the Creator. And then the information from the Creator is very profound. The Creator is not interested in small kind of things, if things are pink or white or dates of birth and stuff like that. It's all about making the world evolve. That's what it's all about. So that's what I claim. People can go to my website and ask 3 questions for free. It's lightsurfers.me, lightsurfers.me. But can we start with the 3 topics of discussion for today?
Of course we can. I mean, firstly, just quickly though, I mean, you know, what you say people can ask you 3 questions. I mean, what were the first 3 questions you asked the creator, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I don't know. I'll tell you what happened to me. So after that course, I was in Abu Dhabi, and I was I was left with remember I had that 500,000 words that I took 2/3 away, and of the third, I then got rid of half. And then I started chucking it into 21 chapters. And I didn't know the headings of the chapters, but I would read a paragraph, create a heading, and then I started throwing them into chapters.
Okay.
And then I just asked the creator, should I remove that paragraph? Said yes, no. I started using the creator.
Right.
And I went through a 2-3 months period there in Abu Dhabi. I was working during the day, but weekends and odd hours, of doing that. And then I started asking questions of the creator. That's in my book. So if people had to go to the Universe Code book, which is under £1 on Amazon, the Universe Code. And so I don't know, to be honest with you, because it was such a...
So many kind of, I mean, I'm sure, I mean, if it'd be kind of, if you were in that situation where firstly, I mean, what I know about automatic writing is it's kind of freehand. You kind of just let the pen move and try and, pick out, ask questions, and then hopefully the answers will appear on the page. So was it really legible, or was it kind of stuff that you had to kind of go through and pick out and go, and make not assumptions, but more like,
make your own conclusions to the area that you're looking at.
No, it's 100% legible. In the beginning, it was short little answers because I was just the first 3 months. But because I can touch, type, or write, it just now comes through.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to mention, but I'll mention it. Everyone is a medium. The difference between a good and a not a good medium is that the thought packages that come from the spirit world enters your pineal gland, or as Americans will say, pineal gland, that's in the middle of your brain, for those that don't know. And when a thought package enters, a true medium won't let their thoughts interfere with the spirit world thought packages coming through.
Right, okay.
And that's the only thing that distinguishes a good medium and a non-good medium.
But could it be your subconscious? It's your subconscious you're talking to, and it's not exactly like a creator. It is actually, the other side of you that you don't understand.
It is not the creator in the sense that, okay, that is going to answer the first question: what is the creator? So if we can just hold that for a second.
Yeah.
Because I just want to finish what was the point I was making? We were talking about the pineal gland.
Yeah.
So what is great about, I went afterwards on a beginner's course to become a medium as well, in addition to other things. And I was halfway through the course where I decided to stop. And the reason why I stopped is I realized that automatic writing is more powerful than trying to train your brain, trying your pineal gland, that
to
these thought packages must be pure, because that's quite something to do. When I do automatic writing, it's 100% automatic writing.
Yeah,
it just flows through.
Yeah.
So it's quite strong. So can we discuss the first of 3 major topics? Now, can I just mention, and the first one is going to link into that question. Mm-hmm. But just before saying this, I recently, only in the last 6 months, looked at the Netflix. Well, it's now on Netflix, on the Ancient Aliens.
Big fan of it, man.
Big fan of Ancient Aliens.
I actually watched it today as well.
Yeah. So I think I saw series 3 or whatever. And what frustrated me a lot is I could see that there was about 100 people on it. And I've since emailed as many as I could get hold of. I think I got hold of about half. Only once came back, but I think I got through to quite a bit. And saying to them, the same email I sent you, because there's 3 points that everyone needs to know that when we know these 3 points that the spirit world and the Pleiadians and the Arcturians say is the truth, and it makes sense to me, once we know these 3 points, then we can see other things can make more sense, or we can put 2 and 2 together a little bit more. So the first one is, what is the creator? So there's an angel, Margaret, that communicates with God, also in the States, called Jerry Gavin. But I've heard the same kind of analogy from other people that communicate with the spirit world. So this is what the spirit world says. So, but the angel Margaret says is the creator. So we are, if you use the analogy of a computer, a mainframe computer, and they say this is very true to the actuality, we humans are the computers, the angels are the servers, and creation, or the creator, is the mainframe computer.
Yeah, when I read it, I thought it was kind of, it's kind of one way of thinking about it, but I kind of got the thing of, like, say an atom is like our solar system, so we basically, the same thing is there, but it's just smaller.
So like
smaller
in a microcosm or microverse.
Like your brain's like the universe, you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing, but then you've got a brain like you have now, but then in the even smaller verse, it's going to be something else that's needed around there.
So just to say, because your question was actually powerful, you says, is your subconscious mind?
Yeah.
You know, because we are all just vibrating strings.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the creator together is just all vibrating strings.
Yeah, true. I can see that.
So in other words, it's like a self-perpetuating computer program that just keeps running and like life. And as computers, we kind of give off these vibrations that can alter the program, if you like, you know. Is that what you're getting at? Because you were saying earlier on about kind of taking so many people, and you know, it's quite easily changed, the software or the program, if you know, and it doesn't take very many people to do it, you know. Is that kind of the route you're going down?
So creation, the fluffy matter started off the Big Bang. You get nothing like a singularity.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the spirit world says. There's something all on the other side. And it so happens, there's a chapter in my book that explains you had another great time that expanded 1 million years, then it contracts and to nothing. Then you get the Big Bang, and that's the fluffy matter. So that fluffy spiritual matter has got a lot of, from the previous, what they call a great time, a lot of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And that knowledge then starts expanding. And so, and then later on, the mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, and then animals, and then us. And it is that all together, and all the strings which put together is creation. And so but somehow we have souls, which is separate entities within the structure. And then the most important thing that creation, the creator gave us, is total free will. Yeah. So we've got total free will and all the eventualities are known. Now, the spirit world says it's actually very easy. It's very difficult for us. They explain us like being in a fish in a pool. We cannot see the outside world.
Yeah.
And if you're apparently in the spirit world and you look down, everything's so easy, but we've got all the potentialities.
But we've got to make them moves.
Of what free will can achieve, because you've got so many things you can decide through free will. And just as a side, a lot of people say, the creator, because they actually mean the creator. They don't mean God. That's going to be the next topic we can discuss. They say the creator is not, fulfilling. I'm praying to the creator. The creator gave us total free will. It's us to us as humanity. In fact, the creator put us in charge of the angels, in fact. And it's up to us as humanity to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Because the Creator gave us total free will. We've got it's the most beautiful thing that we have.
Giving us the tools to actually do what we're supposed to be doing, but we're
this
not.
is the problem. There's also, like, you know, if you want to go down them, you know, the religious roads, it's like, it's also that original sin, and like there's also people who are, by their very nature, not nice people. They don't want to help. They just want to kind of make it better for them, and, you know, be selfish and take, but never really kind of help to make the world a better place. And that it's unfortunate that you always have a percentage of people who are like, you know, pull the ladder up, sod the rest, you know, and it's a shame.
Selfish.
Yeah. So, you know, if you believe in evolution, as science has now proven, and the spirit world says, etc., then there can be only one creator. So why are all the five main religions and other religions, I just researched 80% of humanity is the five main religions, why are they all fighting?
Yeah.
Is they have to have, if you believe in evolution, as that's now proven, you have to have, there can only be one creator. So that's creator. That's creation.
Well, they do say, I mean, this is the thing. It's like, if, you know, I've kind of often said that I kind of agree with principles from a lot of different religions, and, you know, they've all got great messages, and, you know, promote being good to your fellow man, and, you know, all the rest of it.
They've all got the good
it's
bits.
you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think if you want to kind of live your life by a religion, then, you know, it gives people hope and something to live for and strive to be a better person, and that's fair enough, you know. But it's when everybody, like you've just said there, if it comes down to there is only one creator and everybody was wrong, then does it kind of, is that
Someone's
too much of
definitely
a
gonna come out and say no,
mind-blowing knowledge bomb on the whole of humanity could they handle it?
Yeah.
Well, because we only need to wake up 0.5% of humanity that's on the same string level with us to change the rest. This is what the angel word said. We don't need to, we need yin and yang. You can't change immediately, but we don't need to concern ourselves. You know, eventually it will come, because the truth transcends everything. And at some point it will cut through at the right time. You know, you've got yin and yang. So, but that topic of the five main religions is unfortunately such a big topic and linked to reincarnation that that I can't even start discussing it now.
It is a massive topic to talk about.
It's a big one, because I would love to get into that question. Can we go on to the second topic?
Of course we can.
Is God? And this is where we get into UFOs.
Oh, lovely.
Which I think you know far more about the topic. But what I discovered, and what I'm told, is that the only true contactee, there are other contacts, and it's not to say that there are other sort of bad influences from other places in the universe, but the only true contactee in the last 50 years has been a guy called Billy Meyer. For those that listening, is Billy, Billy, Meyer, Meier. And he's early 80s in Switzerland. So have you heard of him?
I've heard the name. Yes, I have.
Well, I've not, so you're going to have to fill me in on this one.
Okay, so Billy Meyer, he made, the Pleiadians made contact with him. So they, in the Pleiadians, the star system, I don't know how many years ago, 50 years ago, or whatever. And for instance, and he started a center called figu.org, FIGU.org. And for instance, the Pleiadians said to him, and this is all recorded, you're going to lose one of your arms. I forget what one arm you're going to use. And that then happened later on. So it was quite tough on him, because he knew. So they can see ahead of time and also go backwards in time. Now, he's got all the footage, photos, videos that of UFOs. He's been on a UFO himself.
Right,
he went back into time. he actually back into time to meet Jesus. Now, so a lot of listeners will go, oh, so now what Figu.org said, I used one guy from America went to Figu.org and he wrote a book. And I took a lot of his information from there. Plus, the Paidean said to Billy Meyer, and actually we're entering a topic that I don't want to enter now, but I have to mention it because it's linked to another discussion, is he said to him, go to a certain grave in Israel, and which was the true grave of Jesus, and then there you'll discover, and they told him where to discover the Talmud of Gamaliel.
And what's that?
So the Talmud of Gamaliel is the real, true New Testament that Jesus wrote.
Okay.
And it's all about reincarnation. Now,
do you think that's because, like, I've heard about potential manuscripts and even kind of things that have been said to be like the New Testament or the actual unrevised Old Testament, and they're being kept in some vault in the Vatican of some scripture, because if they were released, it would change.
It would trade the whole concept
change the whole concept
religion,
of the religion as it stands today.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if the Vatican got it, but I know that document's the Q document they've always referred to.
Yeah.
What I've asked people around Billy Meyer, I said to them, we've now got it released. We've got to carbon date the Talmud of Gamaliel and get it released. And they say it's been destroyed. But fortunately, I can speak to the Creator, and the Creator says it hasn't been destroyed. Yeah. But the reason why they say it's been destroyed, but they need to change their mind, is as soon as they found the Talmud of Gamaliel, this scroll, an Iranian guy translated it into German, because Billy Meyer is German speaking. And the Israelis then immediately bombed, destroyed the grave, plus killed this guy.
Right.
So
there must have been a reason for why they did that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was in 1963. And this is all out there.
Yeah.
So now... So this whole thing is bigger, but coming back to UFOs and God, so he had a lot of contact reports, so he can communicate telepathically with, and then I think he can touch type with one hand. So they've got the contact reports that I've studied, and you can study obviously the Talmud Gamaliel, the 30% that survived, but I believe they've got more.
Definitely.
And what it says is that and I've got chapters in my book that gives sort of summary of the different dates. So the Paideans used to come to Earth many thousands of years back. Mm-hmm. So on Earth, on our Earth, we've never evolved. So this is what the Paideans say and what the angels say, is we've never evolved from ape to human on our Earth.
Yeah.
It's happened on other places. That's why they never will find the missing link.
Yeah.
And that's why scientists are discovering that our DNA and dolphins and whales' DNAs are different to the rest of the mineral and plant and so kingdom.
Yeah.
So they came to it. And so the
it's funny
North American...
Actually, sorry to interrupt, because I've often said as well, like, the story of Noah's Ark, I've often seen the planet Earth as just that, the Ark. It's so abundant a life here that potentially, some of it did originate here, but a lot of it was brought in off-site, if you like, brought in from other planets.
Could have meteorites onto that one.
They were trying to preserve it from something that was potentially going on, or, like what we're doing today, trying to venture out into the solar system and, find other planets to colonize.
Conquer.
Or conquer,
yeah,
exactly.
Mainly.
So, sorry to interrupt there, Karl.
Yeah, so the North Americans talk about, apparently, I heard this on Ancient Aliens, this mother egg, and that we was, seeded. And what that is we were seeded by our fourth. So it turns out, according to what the documents and so on that I'm just mentioning, that needs to be carbon dated and stuff like that. that, and according to Billy Meyer's group, that the Pleiadians came to Earth, and they were our forefathers, and they 1,000,000 years more advanced than us, spiritually, physically, and technologically. So, physically, they slightly bigger than us, but look just like us. They evolved just slightly differently. They can now live to 2,000-3,000 years, right. And because they have technology and stuff. Obviously, technologically, they're 1,000,000 years more advanced. And just imagine where we will be in 1,000,000 years. What's happened in the last
in terms of technology, I think in the last, like you say, 150 years, we've progressed so fast. It's only kind of, it's mind-blowing to even imagine what's coming in the future. So, in that respect, I 100% agree. Yeah. So, just imagine, like I call it a fancy helicopter. Just imagine a UFO. A UFO is nothing spectacular if you think that it's 1,000,000 years more advanced than us. So what happened is they used to come to Earth, they seeded us, then at certain periods they would disappear. And then about, it's either 8,000 years ago or 8,000 years before Christ, one of the two, they decided to stop coming to Earth. And the reason for that is we got to learn ourselves, because when they came down, they saw, that's where one of the reasons why it's called the gods, because they saw the Pleiadians on fancy helicopters, UFOs, as gods, because they're so technically advanced. Imagine so they decided to mainly stop, apart from different sightings and Billy Meyer and so on, but mainly stop coming to Earth. So we need to earn our own way. In fact, that's one of the most important Kabbalistic secrets. We need to earn our own way.
We see more UFOs now, though.
So there are activities, and I would like to come in once we've discussed, actually, before we get to the third point, we can maybe get into that. But so let me just finish what the God is. So currently, and this I asked from the Creator, so this is information myself. Creator says El, so is currently the God, is in charge of the Pleiadians. So the Pleiadians is in charge of us as well. Maybe Biden thinks he's in charge of the free world, but of the world, or maybe China does. But
spiritually,
who's actually in charge of us is the God of the Pleiadians. Currently, it's El, but certainly the Pleiadians also say it is El. But I just asked for a time frame. 9,000 years before Christ, it was Jehovah. That's why you've got Jehovah in the Bible. And then I think it's 13 or 16,000 years before Christ, it was Ipswich, which you've got in the Bible as well. So they were the gods that were in charge of the Pleiadians, that sort of ruled us and that used to come to Earth, and they are now sightings. So it's very important for people to distinguish creation, or the Creator, and God. A lot of people in Genesis, that's the Creator, the 7 days, that's the myth that they mention how evolution worked. But then later on it talks about gods. Those gods of the Old Testament are humans just like us that get born. Their DNA activation is now 100%, because, so it's like a calf of a horse being born. They've got 100% DNA activation. They get up. So the Pleiadians have now got 100% DNA activation, because they went through periods where the DNA was increased by the spirit world.
They were.
And they now, I think their babies are just born and you immediately know how to compose, kind of thing. It's very different to us. So the creation is creation, we discussed, and the gods of the Old Testament are people like us, but obviously 1,000,000 years more advanced. And the true
they've
God
been seen as gods. They've just been seen as gods rather than being gods.
It's like the old days where it used to be magician. Well, it's magicians now, but it used to be.
You show them a trick, and it's all of a sudden it's like, wow, you're some we've never seen
that's
before.
amazing.
Yeah, totally. I can see that. And like, it's all about kind of perception back then as well. Like you were saying about the fancy helicopter, it's just technology. You know, it's what they call magic is what they call science. So I see that.
Yeah. So before we get to the third topic, which is the parallel universes, so I think you know far more about UFOs. So UFOs are 30 times in the Bible. They mention spinning wheels. They mention chariots. The Chinese talk about the man coming in the belly of the dragon and then leaving 3,000 people before Christ. The Babylonians, 700 years before Christ, talk about people with different clothing and different boots on. The Egyptians also talk about the different. So there's so many different places.
There was also a lot of shared information as well around these early time periods that couldn't have really been done in any other way unless there was somebody visiting who was passing that information along. Because the Incas, the Egyptians, Aztecs, all these cultures that would never meet ever, somehow
finding out at the same time.
That if they align the pyramids with, with certain stars, or constellations.
What's that really going to do for us? You've lined it up.
But I mean, it's like certain cultures have kind of taken that influence, or but why? So was it an outside influence coming down and saying, well, if you do this, and there's a reason for it that eludes us, obviously, but I mean, it's was that for a reason? I mean.
Well, apparently under the Sphinx, I think it's the right paw, there's supposed to be something hidden underneath there that actually a chamber to tell us that books that tell us how creation was actually made. So all the truth is supposed to be in that location, and no one goes near it. It's actually locked down.
That's interesting,
yes.
isn't it?
So what the history of that is. So Atlantis was destroyed. I've got actually a topic later on the 6th of June, 9498 years before Christ. So just under 9,500 years.
How do you know that?
So that's according to the Pleiadians.
Right. Okay.
So because they can record, and that's where Billy Meyer comes in.
Yeah.
And so if you believe in that, and that document needs to be carbon dated, that they knew they're going to be destroyed because they can see ahead of time, and they were also told. So they started scattering over the earth, and the original pyramids were not made by the Egyptians. The old pyramids, there are later ones, but the big ones, the Sphinx, were made by the Atlanteans. And the Sphinx, the head of the Sphinx used to be a lion head.
Yes, and it was recarved, wasn't it?
For the face, and then it was also destroyed. The face was deliberately destroyed afterwards as well.
Yeah. Now, as you say, under the right paw, that is where the remains are going to be found. Now, they did about 30 years ago start digging because under Egyptian you have to get approvals, and the Egyptians started digging, and then they stopped it.
Yeah, because he found a stone, and he also found a doorway as well, but written on the stone told him something as well.
So they call it the halls of records. So the guy that could go under hypnosis in the States, in Virginia, what's he called? Edward Casey.
Mm-hmm.
He went under hypnosis, quite famous, and he calls it the hall of records will be found.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting what's going to be in there. Will there be a UFO in there? Will it just be the records that prove everything we're discussing now?
Supposedly scriptures.
Well, I've heard about a couple of sites like this, though. Do you know where there's supposedly, chambers or crashed UFOs that contain information and knowledge?
And buildings that were possibly built.
I'd hope
before
that at least one of these are going to get discovered soon, because I think that, but a lot of them come down to they've been excavated, and they have started to kind of get into these chambers, but then there's been a really weird paranormal force, or
Yeah, they could be
bodies discovered, but in
something that we
strange
shouldn't
ways.
know.
They've been preserved in strange ways, and radiation signatures that has forced the people to flee, concrete it over. We've talked about like the Tarashima hole in, was that in Bulgaria?
Yeah.
Which was exactly that. It was a chamber that once they broke into, they described as the internals of a UFO potentially, and it, all these things happened to them. They were getting flung back by, powerful forces. There was radiation. There was a lot of incidents that forced them to kind of retreat and concrete the whole area over.
Yeah, there's no point going there again.
It's like, are some things just best left, undisturbed, or would you say that it's like our future and our destiny to rediscover this ancient knowledge? And
this is where I agree with you, that actually the word that we all need to use and do more is truth. Because the more we find out the truth of where we've come from, what we've done, what our abilities are to go further, then like sky's the limit. But it's yet again, it's all about power and control, and like you were saying again,
see
like,
that and agree with that.
Scaremongering people, keeping people in their own position so other people can stay in theirs.
Well, you were mentioning earlier about it only takes so many people to be woke and like be able to make changes. That speaks to a lot of different things at the moment. But
but then couldn't you say church was
changing that sort of attitude? You could do.
Different religions have been trying to do that and push their religion out for the generations.
But, people at the moment are we're in this part of history at the moment where people are being told to stay in the houses. They're being isolated.
Yeah, no one knows what's
kept away from
going to happen.
Things and ideas and. Are we going backwards? Are we being subdued too much in that respect? Anyway, Karl, you've got a third topic you wanted to go into as well, didn't you?
Just before the third topic, I just want to mention a few things. So, you mentioned earlier on that they're still coming around. So
yeah, there's a lot more sightings. Well,
there's a lot more sightings.
People are more awake.
Yeah. So. The Pentagon have now a few times released footage.
Yeah,
and there was this recent report that was just a poo report again.
Yeah.
The fact is, it's there. I read online, I don't know how true it is, that Reagan was in Air Force One and they actually followed the UFOs for 2 minutes. And there's many more stories of people and whatever. So, but on the point you make is, so what's happened so far is that governments, it's not only the USA, have tried to just
re-engineer
for power purposes, because if the Pleiadians are in charge, which they are, the gods, then say America is not in charge of.
Oh yeah, we can't be having that.
No. Yeah, can't have that, and that is a thing unlocked. So they've tried to spin this whole thing of UFOs with these green men and whatever. They so completely out of control to the extent that people even feel strange to even talk about it. But that's all changing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I think in terms of modern, back in the 90s, I think if you were kind of into UFOs and aliens, and,
you were a geek,
you were a bit of an oddball.
Yeah,
but
but the question has never been answered, and
exactly. A lot of people are turning around and going, well, is there?
Yeah.
And the evidence does seem to be undeniable in a lot of ways.
Well,
but
there's no other explanation, serious explanation of what has been going on and who's in control. And the first duty of your country is to secure you and your border, making sure you're safe. Now, if these objects, and they've got details of battles that have actually gone down, if they're actually attacking certain areas, or like I've
Countries.
heard also that we're in little bits of war with certain ones as well. But if this kind of stuff is happening, and
Yeah, so that just basically flat out says that the governments know way more than they're letting on, and it's it's actually a more serious thing than we were led to believe. Do you know what I mean?
Why haven't the religions? Because there are a lot of paintings out there, including like you were saying, like
Because
in
it
the
serve a
Bibles and stuff.
purpose.
I'd turned round and actually try and explain what the situation is, apart from
Oh right, okay.
these
'cause they have,
are
haven't they? I mean,
it's God's business.
well, no,
They've
because
also been using
the
that
Pope
power
did
away.
turn around actually and say, didn't he? He said like, acknowledgement of extraterrestrials, and saying, if aliens do exist, they were created by
the same
creator.
God, yeah.
So I mean that ties in
But he
quite
was
well with
forced
what
into
you were
saying
saying
that.
actually there, Carl.
Yeah.
Well, because apparently we're all capable. Would you say that we are like humanity? Are we kind of just these Pleiadians? Just
Yes.
that have been.
They are forefathers, and governments need to relax, because the Pleiadians actually protect us. There are other entities out there that evolved in the universe that's not as advanced as the Pleiadians, and they actually protect us. So Pleiadians are our forefathers. They're a million years more advanced, and they check and come to Earth every now and then to check on how we're earning our own way. And their forefathers were the Arcturians. So our great grandparents are the Arcturians.
So we're like a franchise.
Well, what are we? Are we going to be meat afterwards or something? Why is that? The question for me is, why have we been created, and what is our purpose?
Well, there you come into the question that I couldn't get the answer to. So that is, what started the first Big Bang? For creation.
Yeah, they're getting closer and closer to it.
So you've got creator and you've got God. Mm-hmm. All gods, including us, are just we evolve. But what started creation? Now, the only answer to that is that in the spirit world, what the spirit world says, the spirit world, the quantum world, everything is in the now, and everything is in a circle.
Yeah.
So we think of things that it had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But in the spirit world, everything is in the now. So it's nearly impossible for us to comprehend.
So it's starting and finishing at the same time.
How creation started.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just the fact that we're still in it.
It could be the reason why we're in the time. We're in the time thing, in the time.
Well, we in the time. The earth and everything was created for time. You need time for reincarnation, for life lessons. The spirit world, everything is in now. Everything is in a circle. So we cannot think. It's like synchronicity. Like I had 50 affirmations when I started every day for the first 5 years of asking the universe to send things to me. And boy, it came to me big time. This is my research. How could I achieve what I achieved in 7 years flat? And synchronistic things happen. People, books, things you order and stuff. But in the spirit world, because it's in the now, synchronicity is apparently so easy. But we cannot understand how something can happen.
Well, because we think of time in a totally different reality. I think we've got our own construct of time, whereas, like you've just said about kind of everything happening in the now and everything, in reality, you step off planet Earth and time is totally a different concept than it is here on the planet. My watch means nothing really. It's only relative to where I am on,
Exactly.
If I go out into space, I look at my watch, I have to say it's 5 to whatever on Earth, because how we only kind of grasp time in that sort of very minimal sense.
Yeah, because we use it.
I don't think we fully understand what time is, and how that relates to events like the Big Bang. It can't be defined with our understanding of this principle that we don't even know anything about, really. It's something that we define by a 12-hour, a 24-hour day. Yeah. And a year, cycles, and it's still in circles, and patterns, but it's a very dumbed down, localized version. It doesn't cover the universe and the Big Bang and events like that. So,
but until we get out there, I don't think we're going to even look at that kind of thing. I mean, even the internet, they're already working on the universal internet already, so that would be able to do the stuff on like the time changes. Hopefully, depending on
your GPS says you are, or
update
your clock,
because
you got in the wrong time zone or galaxy.
Yeah, but like time doesn't really mean anything.
But all of that and us going to Mars and then beyond is all still in the time universe, where if you pass over, and there's a whole discussion on reincarnation, and you go to the spirit world, you're not in human form, your body dies. Then you're in the spiritual form. You're just a spirit without a body. The lady I was going to ask to be my co-author, and she was ready for it for my book, The Universe Code, and I never used her because I left the research note as it was. She can, and she was actually one of the ladies that helped fix me, by Angel Michael. She can remember before she incarnated. She's the only person I've met that actually can remember. You sit with the committee, and a lot of people in the spirit will talk about this. You sit with the committee, some talk committee of 12, and you're just in spirit form before you incarnate to Earth, which is time. But in spirit world, everything is in the now. And you can take on any mission. They call it mission, particular. Any mission to come to Earth. Certain spirits just want a relaxed lifetime. Others want particular missions.
So why don't, if you've gone in with a particular mission in mind, then why don't, you have an inkling to what that was? I mean, some people potentially know what the life's mission is, or the purpose in life, and find a calling, but there's a lot of people who just drift.
Yeah.
Wondering what is it that I'm here to do, and like, what is my destiny?
Well, that's the issue. When the spirit comes into you, and you open your mouth as a baby, you don't remember the mission. So it's then up to you as an individual to wake up that mission, and that's why you've got midlife crisis and all these things.
Oh yeah,
and so it's. People go around, they know, and this is why also the religions, they need to wake something up, but they don't know what it is. And the best way, in my view, for my research, to start waking that up is, first of all, to start speaking the truth. Just live a truthful life, no matter, even if in my case, it means you had to get a
hard will to do that.
Say again?
Hard will to do that. Stand up to the truth.
It does, but if we can't go in that discussion now, but maybe in the future we can discuss reincarnation.
Yeah, we've discussed it a couple of times, and it's an interesting topic that I've kind of personally have a real interest in. Paranormal. It is my bag, I suppose. There's a lot of kind of aspects to the soul, spirituality, and reincarnation that I find really fascinating. So yeah, we definitely be able to arrange that.
Yeah. So that whole, we need to discuss the whole thing, and then another topic is the truths that were taken out of the five literally mainly two of the main religions, three really, and because that is going to also create world peace. I think the biggest topic is the difference between Creator and God that we've now discussed. And then, but before getting to the third and last point, parallel universes, I just want to mention something you mentioned, and that is, yes, you get all the sightings of UFOs. So you get the crop circles, like in Glastonbury and all these places, and they really like energy symbols. And what the Pleiadians say, the reason why they go to places like this is they actually, for two reasons, they give humanity hope. So it's just to show humanity that, because they don't want to, we need to earn our own way, but they just want to
help us along the line.
Well, fuck with us is what they're saying there. It's like,
make us think,
we're just going to leave a message for him, but we won't tell him we were here.
Yeah. And then the second reason, there's something else I mustn't forget. We must talk about angels and you. So I'll do that. But just on that topic, the other second reason why they come is at these places where they apparently set crystals. So they've got receiving stations, and then they need to come to these crystals to pick up the information. So there is a physical reasons why they also come to Earth.
Why they choose certain areas. Because I mean, obviously these areas as well are like Glastonbury, especially is on a fault line, as I understand. So I think it's got quite a lot of energies as well. In the area.
I think like UFOs use them.
As me being a hippie,
quite a bit. I think they're like sort of like motorways for the sky, kind of thing, because there's some kind of energy within it that probably helps the propulsion of the vehicle that they're
never thought
using
of it like that, actually. Do you know, like, would tracking fault lines yield more UFO sightings?
Yeah, and if they've got more technology advanced than us, then they must know, we know that there's kind of energy there, and they've probably known about it and used it for an actual purpose.
Well, based on what Karl was saying earlier as well, like, if that string theory, is correct, then using and tapping into energies and, then it does. It's you can't argue that it might not.
Well,
true.
True.
We are running out of time though. So, Karl, you were talking about your third topic there, parallel universes.
Okay. And I'll just say one thing because I forgot it on the topic of God and UFOs. Now, this will blow some of the listeners' minds. And this is what the Spirit World says: is so the Pleiadians and other entities like the Arcturians can come to Earth with UFOs. But angels, we just see angels as sort of this mythical entities. Angels come from the spirit world.
I was about to
ask, believe it or not,
because I was saying about, are angels Pleiadians or are they a separate entity? So there's some more to do with the soul.
So the Pleiadians turns out to be separate entities that come from the spirit world, and they've got different UFOs, and their UFOs are not seen so many times, are more round in shape. So Fatima in Portugal, where the third time that at Fatima when the angels came, there was 1,000 people in Portugal that saw that.
I've seen
people know about this, yes.
People go. So that the angels. Then you've got Knock in Ireland. They were. I've been to both of those, and then I've never been to Lourdes in France. Now, they were angels sightings.
Yeah.
And the angels can make themselves appear into any form they want to be. They are like they're the service. So they,
Yeah, because in Portugal, it was Mary, wasn't it? In Portugal, she come forth as Mary.
Yes. So they can come forth in any form, whereby the Pleiadians, our forefathers, they are actual people. So, they are part of
society.
Born like,
yeah, they were born. They were just born like me and you were, and
with
just
extra
everyday
powers. But I
think it's just the fact that they've been portrayed as gods because of the technology, and it's like from ancient times when they were arriving, and like you say, they arrived on a fiery dragon or in something that I don't understand. Then of course they're going to be like, wow, you're well better than the God we were praising last week.
Yeah.
And the straight on the, and the.
Well, it was even there's a famous I'm gonna have to remember the name of it, but there's a famous painting with an actual fight.
Yeah, the fight
over city. I think it was either Norway, somewhere like that, or Sweden, but there was a massive aerial fight with different kind of objects, from balls to triangles to crosses to stuff like that. Now, back it wasn't just that picture. There was actually written transcripts on this as well.
Yeah, but in the same respect as the lost in translation
that's
back
true.
then.
Yeah.
It's your modern mind looking at something with your perspective.
Yeah,
might see it totally different, like when we've seen things like people go, that photograph is somebody using a mobile phone, when it's something
when it could have been a little
just
radio.
don't recognize as, or we'd recognize that object as, but in reality it wasn't. It was something else, like I don't know, a compact
Yeah.
like a little mirror or something. So it's all about kind of how it's perceived, but
That's true.
from the perspective of the person in the time. So like from you're from a modern
different
perspective,
timelines,
rather than a ancient one. But
totally.
Okay, last one, item 3. Other universes. So we, and I'm not a scientist, but we, so you'll know far more about this than I do. Our pineal gland, or pineal gland as Americans would say, it runs at 7.83 hertz.
Okay, yeah.
And our Earth resonance, the Schumann resonance, runs at 7.83 hertz as well. Mm-hmm. So what certain people like Graham Hancock, a UK guy, his books are amazing.
Yeah.
And so say, and make total sense to me, is that, so it's like a radio station or a TV station. So just let's say a radio station where the old way where you used to tune in to a certain frequency. Our pineal gland makes us tune into our universe. So we've got a lot of parallel universes out there. And so what then happens is, in the Hindu scriptures, the Vedas, they mention the soma, S-O-M-A. And they reckon it was like a mushroom they used to eat. And there's a lot of things that happen there. But now in modern day, if you go to South America, you can go and have I don't know how to pronounce it.
Ayahuasca. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about this yesterday. It would be the only
there's a lot of people
drug
who
that I would take.
There's a lot of people who have said they've been to basically it's on a spirit journey or a
big spirit journey.
Been able to kind of answer a lot of questions for themselves.
Stop their addictions as well.
Exactly, by just meditating and partaking in this herb, I suppose.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it, ayahuasca?
Yeah, so I came just before answering. I came to a path about, I don't know, sort of 2016, 17, where I had a fork in the road, and I could either go down the left-hand side where I could. There's a person, believe it or not, that's 2,000 years old on Earth, and through meditation. But his name is Babaji, and I wanted to start going to. There's once a year they've got these things. They get together, people float, levitate. So there's all these things you can do, and potentially going down the path of researching Avanza a bit more and stuff like that. But then I took the right fork, and the right fork I took because the Kabbalists talk of it's the end of pain, suffering, and chaos. I said to myself, there's a lot of time for me to be in the spirit world after I pass in this lifetime. My job now is to get this information and make the world a better place, get around what the Kabbalists called, get rid of pain, suffering, and chaos. So I haven't gone researching a lot. Graham Hancock did, but you've got the DMT in it, in pineal gland. I've got more in my book about it. But what it does, it raises your pineal gland from 7.83 hertz higher to, like, say it ends up at 7.9 hertz. What you then do, and it's only temporarily, whilst that plant that you're eating is, you end up in another universe. And that's why the Egyptians, why you see half a head of a man and half of a horse, or whatever.
Or a jackal or something else,
So you actually physically, temporarily end up in another universe. So, and it's as simple as that.
That's great. I mean, it's like, I think that, when people have kind of spoke about being on these, using ayahuasca and other, kind of shaman potions, if you like. I don't know. I mean, I've never tried
rituals with using narcotics.
A lot of people say that they kind of remember the births and stuff like that. I mean, in that respect to what you were saying earlier about your mission and all the rest of it, I mean, finding out something about yourself makes a lot of sense in that respect, because you kind of calling back to that moment of opening your mouth for the first time, and being born into this life, and if you're able to kind of relay that time when that was all happening, then maybe that mission might be clearer to you. Am I just being silly?
But couldn't it be that our problem would be that our body shuts down when certain things happen?
I just think it's cruel to make it so difficult, to say, right, we're going to sit you down in front of a committee to discuss your mission, what you want to do, and whether you're going to just be a free spirit and just have a life, or are you going to be there for a reason and have a destiny and an ultimate goal? But then to not let you be privy to that information going in is almost like it is a test, because, or a lesson to be learned, because you can't achieve your goal unless you get to that point.
It could be seen as sort of a cheat that and it's a part of the ability.
Yeah, we're going
to,
back
like
into reincarnation.
To find.
I've got interesting theories about parallel universes, especially. Some
of it sounds a bit like the message from a Sumerian god.
It does actually, yeah. Well, maybe this is the thing, because they all tie in. A lot of these one in the same, and
there is a lot of tie-ins, but there's a lot of stuff that swaying you to go one way when realistically you should go, because it, like the boring bit, and it's like, no, you need that boring bit to connect to the other part, and then the bits start getting together, working together.
You start connecting the strings.
Because I've been trying to connect things for years.
Where do you stand in the whole multiple universes? So you believe that multiple universes exist. Have you been able to tap into any of these?
Science says we have 11.
No. So once I discovered, this is where I came to the fork in the road. Once I discovered, the pineal gland, you can take ayahuasca, you can temporarily go into a parallel universe. That's where I just stopped that whole research.
Yeah, because you were saying that you felt that the automatic writing was more effective in getting answers. Is that because you were more open and yourself, like you're able to be more conscious about what was being asked and being said and being kind of relayed back to you?
Yeah, when I sat with that master plan for life in January 2011, I've got three main missions: one on dyslexia, one on health, and the main one by far is on what I now know is world peace. So my main mission, if I put it out of 1,000, dyslexia, I'm dyslexic, is 1 out of 1,000. Although I don't treat it like 1 out of 1,000. The Health Spring Code book is like 5 out of 1,000. Health is very important because our bodies is their foundation. But 1,000 out of 1,000 is world peace. And I believe in our lifetimes, we can live a bit longer, we can get world peace. I believe it's 100% possible. And that is my main mission now. And studying parallel universes is not going to affect that whatsoever. So my mission, my main mission, is to get these, and within my main mission, this topic of what's greater, number one, number two, what is God, and number three, what's a parallel universe stroke 7.83 hertz. That is this discussion we're having today is the most important point for world peace, because once this can be understood, then this is the start of the relaxing of the five main religions. We need more to happen. Our other discussion on reincarnation,
a lot more.
And Jesus is a link with the five main religions, believe it or not. It's a really powerful discussion.
Is there going to be a second coming?
Are say again?
Is there then going to be a second coming?
Or even the Old Testament, wrath of God.
Yeah.
There's going to be no physical coming of Jesus. Jesus is already here in spirit form. So Jesus is the Senate Master called Sananda, Sananda, and he's already here in spirit form. It's part of the whole time of Aquarius. And the last thing I would like to say is we are, according to all the information from our book, the reason why we're on Earth, well, apart from life lessons, because you've got young souls, and as you grow, you get advanced souls. Like the prophets are very advanced souls. They're much further advanced than anyone else.
So what happens when we're all at that level? You know, when we're
new ones keep coming
awash
in,
with, you know,
well,
deities.
Then you become where the Pleiadians are now. So our role, we are the only, according to this information, we're the only planet on Earth in the universe that's currently in the ascension mode. So it's the mode of expansion. And
maybe this is the goal, that we're meant to eventually look after another planet and guide them, you know,
you've just hit it on the nail. That is what everything is about. And we make the universe evolve, and then it's going to contract in our current great time.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go into nothing, and then you're going to get the next bang. All of this information is in my book, The Universe Code.
Well, there you go. And make sure you go. Is it available on Amazon?
Yes, The Universe Code on Amazon, or you can go to lightsurface.me and you can get the information there as well.
And don't forget, you can ask Karl 3 questions there for free. And he'll get back to you ASAP. Well, thank you again, Karl, for coming on the show. Karl. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to our Reincarnation chat.
Yes,
definitely.
That will be
like I say, get over to Light Surfers. Is it .net?
.me.
.me, sorry. So lightsurfers.me. And we'll look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much.
Nice one, mate.
Cheers, Karl.
Cheers.
Well, thanks again, Karl, for joining us on the show. Mate. He's always a pleasure.
Yeah, never a show.
He's got a real kind of like interesting take on a lot of things. And if you want to find out more, as Karl said earlier about his checking out his book, you can do that.
You can
by going over to the website, where it's listed as our book of the week.
It is indeed.
And that's on the front page, so it's dead easy to find. Get a link there to Amazon where you can pick up a copy.
Get it where you can.
Get it while
it's
there
for a week.
Hot.
Yes.
Well, it's there forever. It's not just like, you know,
well,
it's
we've
there
got
as
it there
long
for
as
a week.
Karl decides it's on Amazon, I suppose.
Well, yeah.
But we'll put it on our website for a week.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Maybe 2. See what happens. Yeah. But, you know.
Come and join along the fun.
It's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of good takes there.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's a very outside the old noggin thinking.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
We'd love to hear your theories and your comments, suggestions, and all that. People at home, listeners.
Please do. Yeah. Give any kind of comment that you think.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Karl. Well,
thanks, mate.
We've got a fun-packed show.
We are,
as we said.
As we do.
But we've got some news as well, I think.
I believe so.
NASA news as well as your regular news. Well, we'll try and keep it short this week because obviously it's been a long episode.
It has been a long one, hasn't it?
So,
but it's a good one.
Without further ado, it's the news. And as usual, we've scoured the World Wide Web to find the best news
around.
Not just the best news, like the weirdest news. I mean, there's stuff and potentially life-altering news.
There is.
Yeah.
There is.
There is some.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, it depends how you look at it. I mean, I've got some theories about this, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get into it, really. But, like, this is my first story, which I just found really weird. Yeah. Scientists have made an eco-friendly plastic using the DNA of salmon sperm.
Well, they do waste a lot of sperm. Yeah.
They do, actually. Yeah, I know, but, you know.
But, yeah, that's a bit...
I was talking, you know, it's funny, I was actually talking about, you know, replacements for plastics today, actually, right? And bamboo is one of those materials that can be molded into shapes, bowls, cups, you know, utensils, toothbrushes.
Well, versatile.
It grows like fucking the wind, even used as a torture method because it grows so quickly that you put the victims over a bed of bamboo and let the bamboo grow through them. Yeah. Wow. That's how quick and sustainable this product, this you know,
tree.
material is, right? Yeah. So if you can make a lot of kind of like make a lot of the things that you used to make out of plastic out of more sustainable, materials, then that's it's a big step in the right direction.
I've heard people.
I'm not being funny, but how sustainable is salmon sperm in terms of making an eco-friendly plastic?
Especially since we're killing off the species.
Exactly. I mean,
bamboo.
Bamboo seems like the more logical option. It's like, who came up with the salmon sperm idea? That guy needs sacking.
Well, let's see how far it can go. I mean, it
had to be. Well, researchers in China have designed an alternative plastic using the most unlikely source, salmon sperm. The plastic-like material is formed by 2 shots, standard strands of salmon DNA combined with another chemical.
Is it sticky?
It probably is, but it's mixed with a vegetable oil or something.
Oh, right, because I've heard potatoes around newspapers that are being thrown, at the doors and that.
potatoes around newspapers?
Yeah,
what,
potato peels, around.
As a protest,
and then
or as a form of...
As a form of plastic.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I think. What do you think at home? Do you think salmon sperm plastic's going to be a winner?
Something in this kind of area is going to be the answer.
I think bamboo. Yeah, bamboo's a great
Look
way.
Into nature.
I think a lot of people are using bamboo. I think they've all got on to that idea that it is one of the, plants and materials like that anyway. So, I thought it was an interesting topic. But
it was.
The material requires 97% less carbon emissions to make than petroleum-based plastics.
So we're trying to get away from the plastics now, aren't we?
In terms of carbon emissions, it does a good job. But I mean, how much salmon sperm are you going to have to create the volume of plastic that we require as a species?
We'll need,
Oh,
and not just a certain
Coca-Cola would fucking snap their hand off, and we make all our bottles out of eco-friendly salmon sperm plastic.
Yeah, well, we're probably
I think sales of
using
Coca-Cola will fucking plummet because who wants to put the lips round that?
Well, that's true, unless you didn't get told about it. And it's a case of, we've made this new kind of plastic
I know,
thing.
They'd sing from the rooftops about that because they want to get away from that negative image of being one of the world's most fucking, worst polluters, in the sense that it's usually Coca-Cola bottles that wash up.
That's true. A lot of Coca-Cola bottles.
Anything you've seen this week?
Oh, yeah, Barbados. Congratulations.
What's happening in Barbados? Oh, are they liberated now from the Queen?
Republic. Yeah.
They're no longer associated with our Queen anymore.
Yeah. Prince Charles went over and...
at least, it's not long left. You could have given her, let her just have it until, she's away.
Yeah, but then Charles might not have gone, you can have it back. He might have gone, you know what? No, we're going to use that.
Why? Was it the Queen who, relinquished her sort of...
it's down to her permission.
So why doesn't she do that with other countries then? She allowed, there's loads of countries that she still got kind of, residency over, or, is that the right word? Dominion. This is my domain. I am the Queen.
Well, it's not. It's. Australia's tried it a number of times, haven't they? And the people just they like the Queen. You know what I mean?
Everyone loves the Queen. The Queen's awesome.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean.
Powerful.
She's like that grandparent that you just don't fuck with.
Yeah, I tell you what, she's going to be sorely missed when she's gone.
She is
because of the people who are going to be in her position next time. It's not exactly going to be a better rosage.
She's seen it all, hasn't she?
She's been through it. I like the Queen. I like the Queen, man.
The Queen.
Yeah, she's a good girl. But congratulations, Barbados.
Yeah, so for not being even though we like the Queen, they might not.
It's the case that they want to go off on their own and be able to, become their own standing country and to make their own. I mean, it's like us leaving Europe. You know what I mean? We get to do
totally. I understand what you're saying, but I mean,
and if they think they've got if it's the time for them to do it, then go ahead, go for it. Congratulations, man. And I think they have. I mean, they've been doing well over the last couple of centuries. You know what I mean? But go and do your stuff and hope you're well.
we were looking on you from time to time.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
So you make sure you're doing all right.
Yeah,
Making sure
man.
you're eating well.
Yeah.
You
Get
know
them crops growing.
exactly. Well, right. Walmart.
Oh, Walmart.
Do you know we did this story last week about this toy that was being sold in Walmart? It was a singing, swaying cactus.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be an educational toy, but it was singing a rap song in Polish about doing cocaine.
Now.
Yeah, it's been pulled now
finally.
from the shelves.
After how long?
Well, we had to do the expose, didn't we? And then they cottoned on. They went, shit.
Yeah, we didn't realise.
So Toronto
Didn't get no
so it was a Toronto grandmother who bought the educational toy for her 15-month granddaughter, but she happened to be Polish and was able to deduce or hear, the
actual conversation, what he was saying.
the song and the lyrics that he was singing. Most people might not, and it just passes them by. It's just a song sung by.
It just sounds nice.
Sounds nice. Yeah. When it was actually a song produced by a rapper who is now suing the Chinese company who created the toy. So
he ain't doing it for copyright.
Controversial.
There's no copyright.
Controversial
in China,
dancing cactus.
Yeah, there's going to be an argument there. Have you heard the news of Billy Hood? The young lad who was like a trainer, and he went over to Abu Dhabi.
I have heard this, actually.
The CBD left in his car, the 4
He says take it a toke.
Yeah.
But basically, this kid, he's took CBD over
his mates brought it over for him, hadn't they? And they've left it in the car. And
was it caught. Like, what were the reasons behind him having it? Does he suffer from pains? Does he kind of like use it for medicinal purposes, or take it anxieties, stresses, that sort of thing?
To be honest, I don't know the exact
whatever the reason
why.
The thing is, though, CBD is legal in the UK. It's legal in a lot of countries, but
you got to be careful over. You got to make sure you know.
You've definitely got to check these things before you take anything into another country that you're unsure of. I mean, like CBD is one of those things that in some countries that have really strict drugs laws.
Philippines.
The Philippines, Thailand. Certain parts like Abu Dhabi. Zero tolerance, and if you're caught with something that's legal and over the counter in your country, doesn't necessarily mean that. So what's happening with this case now? Because he was arrested, wasn't he?
He was looking at 25 years. And that was outstanding for that.
Please tell you. I hope you're going to tell me that they've got him out for this. CBD's ridiculous.
His judgment's just pulled out, and he got sent down for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. They're trying to get it back in court and get it
chop
reduced.
An hand off.
Well,
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the jail's like, so it might be nice and comfy.
An Abu Dhabi jail.
But,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
think jail's pleasant in any country. To be honest.
No, definitely not. But so they're trying to see if they can, get the charges reduced, maybe 2 years or something like that. But then that's the Western thought to, the Eastern foot.
Come on, guys! It's only a bit of CBD.
Yeah,
but like I say, it's what their culture demands, isn't it? And the rules of the country. I mean, in the same respect that if you come to the UK, we have certain rules. You have to fucking
a lot of people get away with it, mainly if you got money, but the rest of us have to follow the rules.
There are sort of rules,
like
which apply to not everyone, but
should be.
But it's the same in other countries. You go respect the culture and like what they want, and if not if only you don't want to spend 10 years in a fucking foreign
jail. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You've got to kind of think about the consequences if you're planning on taking medication.
Definitely on medication,
and not only medication, it's stuff that potentially is like
seeds
seen
and stuff
as
like
illegal
that,
in
Australia
other countries.
And that's illegal. You can get done for that.
I think that's a lot down to like horticulture and kind of
it's
wrecking their ecosystem.
Yeah. But it only takes.
But I've always said it's there's nothing to stop me eating a load of trail mix before I got on the plane.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Going to an Australian field and having a poo.
Well, you know what? Funny enough,
I mean,
just said
it's like they're going to get the seed radar out to make sure of like you're not eaten or ingested condoms filled with fucking like Brazil nuts.
Where was it? I think it was somewhere like in the Antarctic, somewhere like that. But I've just heard a story about how a bunch of scientists went into an area, and this area is supposed to be you cannot, do anything to the environment. Whatever you bring in, you bring back. Actually, it was an island, and what had happened was the scientists had been there for a number of years, and then didn't realise that when they've been having food from offshore and coming back, they were pooing and they were actually bringing in other seeds.
Right, you see. This is how seeds migrate, though, really, with birds eating them and, like, bringing them in.
But it was a study of a volcano that erupted in the 80s that's like an island now, and they wanted to see how fast the growth
This is basically like only scientists are allowed to step foot on it.
Yeah.
It's out in the middle of the ocean, isn't it? And basically, it was an underground volcano that erupted, creating a brand new island. So no one's allowed to step foot on it because it's the closest thing we've got to, the creation of the planet. Yeah. And how wildlife starts to kind of inhabit pieces of land like this. Just even down to algae and funguses and stuff growing on rocks, to be honest.
Because actually there was another island.
Interesting stuff.
East Island, I believe it was, where actually they left it. They didn't even realise what was going to happen to the little island with no trees and stuff like that. They went back only about 2 years later, and it was flush. It was like the Amazon. It was flush everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was like out in such a short amount of time that trees, you know what I mean? Not like plants, but trees were like bang up there, and it's like there was something in that soil that actually.
Well, they say volcanic, Earth's most fertile.
Well, yeah, it's true. Well, the proof's in the pudding, isn't it?
And like you say, it's like a couple of birds land on there, and they've eaten something on the mainland, and it's now on that island, isn't it? And it's like it's a natural ecosystem, or what Australia try to do is keep their ecosystem as it has been,
as pure
as it has
been since they've been there.
Is that kind of like,
changes
holding,
with the wind,
is it holding back the natural, flow of things in some ways?
Well, I suppose.
Don't know.
Well, in one way, you're absolutely right, because nature shouldn't be held back. But in another way, we got the tools to go back off.
They're protecting it because there's a lot of animals and species that aren't, are only native to Australia. So it's in the interest of these species in protecting them.
That's true, but then if you want other species to survive, other species can.
Also, we've seen like the mouse thing recently, and that's down to kind of introducing something that will breed really quickly. So not just necessarily seeds and nuts, it's like and plant life. It's animals as well. Yeah, anyway, it's interesting the whole kind of ecology of other countries and how they keep their.
Yeah, it's a big world, but a small place, really.
Well, thank you, Banky Justice, who's just came in there on a notification from Instagram. I don't even know who that. It's just an Instagram person, but like I just got a notification, so I may as well give you a shout out.
Yeah, you might as well.
Says he followed us and like season's greetings. Thank you.
Oh, season's greetings to you too, and everybody else out there.
It's almost Crimbo.
It is.
Almost Christmas.
I'm sat right near the Christmas tree right now.
If you want to give us a Christmas tip bonus, whatever you want to call it, get over to the Rather Anchor. You can donate there, or on the website on the support tab. Just
couple of little buttons.
There. NASA news this week. Have you got any more news before we go into NASA news?
Just Twitter, new CEO, and he's going to change a lot of things, like you can't post. He's already said this. You can't post someone else on a photo,
nudes
on there. Not even if it was just straight face.
So you're only allowed to post
without
photos
their
of
permission.
yourself.
No, basically you've got to have permission. Yeah, and it's going to open a big can of worms that when he starts bringing it in. But
it's like I need to see your written permission slips for it's like fucking nightclub scene. Yeah. You've got to go around everyone going, I'm just about to Instagram, Facebook or whatever, Twitter. This photo. I was just wondering, am I right to have your permission?
Well,
Whereas
that's it.
they'd say it's like, look at what happened on the riots at the Parliament.
Oh
in America, right?
Yeah.
The reason that they caught so many of the people involved was because they were all Instagramming it, tweeting it, putting it on Facebook. So they were able to use these photographs of large groups of people to ascertain who was there.
Totally,
and prosecute accordingly. Right? So now by kind of saying, oh no, you can't really use that photograph of another person without their permission, that means that puts an end to group shots, outside event shots. Yeah. Photographs that
might as well just use it for wording
so many
only.
people in it, it'd be impossible to adhere to that that rule. Because you couldn't possibly ask everyone for the permission to use the photograph. I mean, if that is even the case.
This is what is specified, but believe me, it's going to get a lot tougher on it. They're basically going like YouTube or all these standards that are trying
adverts.
to come in.
Loads of adverts in it.
Yeah, and it's like what I mean. It's like they're trying to get the rule back.
Well, this episode is brought to you by. I'm not joking.
It's not.
But we'll just throw an advert in. Well, there you go. I think that there are a lot of things going on there.
Yeah, and a quickie
I lost my trail of thought there, I won't lie.
A quickie on that. Ghislaine Maxwell's court case started on Monday, and her lawyer's already been told off for actually stating one of the victims' names.
Oh yeah, they're not allowed to. I think the judge told her off.
Yeah, judge told them off big time apparently.
Well,
but
there you go.
Yeah,
we will move on into NASA news.
We will.
UFO sightings are on the rise again. There's been a couple of videos going.
Keep them coming out.
Going viral. And one of them that caught my eye was a UFO seen in the skies over Evansville's Garvin's Park.
Garvin's Park?
Garvin. Has anybody seen Garvin?
At a park?
It's Garvin.
It's Garvin.
Garvin with Garvin rather than Gavin.
I see.
But Garvin, I quite like Garvin better.
Yeah.
Garvin.
Garvin.
He's got his own park. Well, UFO since has basically been spotted over Garvin's Park.
Yeah.
And it's causing a bit of kind of like, woo on the UFO front because people are, saying it's not a plane. It's definitely something otherworldly.
Yeah, and good. We just need to see more and more of this coming out. The more, the better.
So, yeah, UFO sightings. If you've had a UFO sighting, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
If you've had an experience, or if you've got video footage of a UFO sighting, send it to us.
Yeah.
We'd love to see it, maybe put it on the YouTube channel.
Or even do it anonymous if you wish it that way.
If you wish.
Yeah, we won't.
We won't.
Anything like that.
Anyway, yeah, we're very personal. We keep data protection. We're that type of people.
Yeah. So we don't want you lot being fucked over.
Any NASA news you've seen? Because I've seen this really huge story.
Oh, go for it.
NASA say a potential hazardous asteroid will break into Earth's orbit next week.
Yes, it's a biggie.
It's a biggie, isn't it?
It's a biggie.
It's supposedly as big as the Eiffel Tower, if not bigger.
Yeah.
They're saying on the 11th of December, NASA experts, asteroid 4660, which is called Nearest, which is very near us.
Yeah, very, very near us.
To be the closest point to Earth in over a 20-year period.
So this is our last programme.
Yeah, so we'll catch you. Well, it's been lovely.
It's been lovely talking to you. You've been cracking crowd.
Cracking audience. But we did tell you. We have said this before. The plan was, I mean, earlier on this week, they were talking about, obviously, they had the mission DART, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And that was to deflect asteroids, by firing, like, a dart.
A little rocket
at it to shift its, orbit.
Yeah.
Why aren't they doing that? Or is the reason why it could hit us is because they did it.
They could,
and
we could grab it.
And it fucked it up.
Well, the craft could be destroyed. It could have gone right through it.
Yeah, just knocked it actually in a trajectory towards Earth.
But we are in a big thing at the minute of meteorites. I mean, Jupiter's been hit, God knows, number of times now. They've been spotted. We're in a meteorite zone at the moment. So hopefully it will swing past us. But we just got to keep our eyes out. Yeah.
Well, the asteroid near us was discovered back in 1982, and scientists have been tracking it ever since. Near us is approximately 330 meters wide, roughly the size of the Eiffel Tower, like we said. It's expected to come within 2.5 million miles of Earth on December 11th, and considered very close in cosmic standards.
That is not too bad, though. I mean. That is not too bad actually, so I don't think we really have to worry about that one. And we would be able to see it as it goes by as well. So if you get your goggles out and have a look at the sky,
but if it just decides to,
well, anything could happen. Another meteorite.
You said about getting sucked in. That could be a global fucking.
Yeah, it should be far enough on that. It's when it comes.
Make sure you got loads of tins of beans.
Into about 2,500, then then.
Well, that's what it's in.
Well, no, that million. I'm on about thousands. If it was 10 times closer, then there might be something to worry about. But I mean, anything could happen to it. But it looks big enough, and it's going to whiz
in the next half hour.
Yeah, I think it's going to whiz past.
Have you got any more NASA news before? I've got one more story.
Talking about that big rock passing us, we've got the biggest one ever seen. Coming into Saturn, it's actually near there. It's coming right near there now, and
coming to Saturn.
They surprised
coming to a Saturn near you.
They surprised the scientists actually, and I was hoping for a little juicy story coming out of it, but really all it was that it was further away and that it was to the sun than we first thought. So then their estimations may be wrong on how far it will come near Saturn. It might actually go a little bit further out, and that could be a potential problem because then Jupiter could grab hold onto it. But it's the biggest one ever. We will be able to see it.
Visualize space, isn't it? I mean, in terms of when you think about it,
there's a lot of rocks and it's a small pool, man.
Well, is it?
Well, in this little area we are in this
area, I suppose. For what's floating around, and then when we've pumping all types of shite up there.
Well, we're not helping it, are we? We're bloody adding to it.
So we were talking earlier about. In fact, we weren't talking about it earlier. We've had discussions about it. The Drake equation.
Oh yeah.
Which is the equation that kind of measures or kind of estimates how many planets out there are maybe inhabitable based on the Goldilocks principle and all that stuff.
All the added stuff. Yeah. Yeah, because they had to do it again, didn't they? After he died, they had to do it again because of the added of we're more likely there's going to be aliens. Like NASA and that said, well, it not necessarily has to be a big species, but like micro. So it would have to be added on. So it was actually tweaked a little bit more.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard of the Kardashev scale?
Yeah.
Well, I've just been reading up on it. So the Kardashev scale is a classification of intelligent planets, civilizations. Yes. The scale includes 3 categories based on how much energy the civilization is using.
Yeah, because you started talking about
So not only can we kind of determine where the life could be, but if we did find a civilization, we could say what sort of type civilization they are based on what sort of energy they use and
how
they use it and where they get it from.
There's 5 categories, isn't there?
I think I don't know. It's probably
they may have reduced.
But like how it breaks down here is so like technology. So if a civilization was using so like Earth, we're a Type 2 civilization. Yeah. So we're capable of harnessing energy, but not from anywhere out of the planet.
Not using sustainable energy, which slows us down.
Well, I suppose we're a Type 1 then, right? So a Type 2 is a civilization capable of harnessing energy from like its own star.
Yes.
Right? And a Type 3 civilization is the potential of harnessing energy from its own galaxy.
That's strong.
That's a lot of energy. I don't know why you'd need that much energy, but crack on, Type 3 guys.
Well, that'd be interesting in that position. Because then in that position, you'll know quite a lot about the areas that you're in. So they know about black holes, how suns properly work, how gas planets properly work, how all the questions that we ask. So that'd be interesting to get to that stage.
Imagine being a Type 3 planet. Civilization, you'd just be like,
could rule the universe.
Maybe it was the chaps that Karl was talking about.
Hey, it could be, could be
to lead us into the future of our destiny to be a big brother. It's like a big brother.
It's like competition. It's like that Squid Games.
No. I mean, they have the Big Brother program in the States where it's like, we've got to take on a little kid that needs a big brother.
Oh, right. Yeah. All right.
Maybe it's like that, but an intergalactic one. It's like, come on, there's planets out there who need a friend. Come on, Earth. Book up your ideas, Deadpool. And it's like when he goes, we think you'd make a good X-Man, but you're just not, you're not quite there yet.
Don't cut it. He's
not there yet, So, maybe it's one of those situations like Karl was saying. Well, that's it. That's the show.
It is indeed.
That's it for the news this week. Quite brief, but, we'll just get you out,
Yeah, well, we had a long chat.
We had a good long chat with Karl.
We did.
Good one. We'll be back next week.
We will.
And if you've enjoyed the show, please do share it.
Yeah. Tell your neighbour.
Share it with anyone you think might get
co-workers,
a kick out of it.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of new subscribers, new listeners recently. We thank you to anyone who's got to the end.
Thank you very much.
Because, obviously it is a long show.
It is.
And if you did get this far, it means that you truly are, fucking worthy of good people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
very good people.
We're available on all podcast platforms, so wherever you get your podcast. A lot of people prefer iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio is another good one.
Yeah.
We're available on our website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk, where you can find all types of stuff, downloadable content, blogs, videos, all types of stuff. You can contact us from there, and even donate if you enjoy what we do and you want to see us progress the show and get it bigger and better. Yeah. And we also have a Patreon where you can join up as agent, special agent, or beyond top secret, and that gets you access to some hidden
extra
features
goodies
and extra stuff.
Oh yeah.
Am I missing anything? That's it. I think.
I believe. Yeah.
We're available on Twitter, Instagram.
We are.
All linked up. So go and check us out, and we'll hopefully see you again next week.
Yes.
I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
And we've been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Peace.
Out. Don't forget to tell your friends.